Ladies and gentlemen, good day. Today, November 7th, I seek your ears once more on a very important topic, the institution of the family. But before I proceed, let us borrow from the wisdom of Michael J. Fox, who says family is not an important thing, it is everything. For 19 months and more, I have invested my mind and heart on developing a treatise, a manual on the nature of the states and the arts and science of nation building. My adventure was born out of my many conversations and Socratic interlocutions with a bunch of persons of different races and merits on the subject of international relations and international politics. Note the conjunction hand is not to relay semblance, but to portray a dichotomy. International relations being for the cheerleading states such as ours and 99% of African countries, while in the octagon of international politics are the nuclear muscled countries. At the end of each of my many conversations, I have always been hit with the batons of disappointment, a disappointing reality that many of my interlocutors, representative of millions of people, lack a round, sound, and solid understanding of what the state is and what the state is not. Many of us are still stuck with the kindergarten definition of the state as a mere political or geographical entity, a serious civic and nationalist deficiency. I have come to understand that the state is not a mere geographical entity, but a spiritual expression of the aspirations of the millions of our citizens. We have a cultural, biological, physiological, phonological, and genetic connection to our society or states in general. Civic studies that does not emphasize these and also the love of country as though it is our bride is deficient and not efficient. My intellectual adventure was off to a great cruise until September 12th of this year when tragedy struck our country. There and then I was forced to make a U-turn. To not do so, the end of such adventure would have been doomed to failure. While many of us are still mourning, you and I must wipe our tears, for such emotions, if prolonged beyond necessary, impair our senses of sight and insight. It does no justice to the memory of the dead, nor any good for our society. The bees of reality have stung me, and if you have not, you are about to be. I have realized that the arts and science of nation building is an exercise in unfortunate futility if a society is not intentional about building functional families, which is a foundation of every state that seeks peace and prosperity. To not pay proper attention to the latter, the arts and science of building functional families, the result is a nation built on dunes, the foundation of sand. I have brought forth 3 national tragedies to help screw this unfortunate reality into our collective consciousness as a nation. The death of the Dagreen at 25, Dablix Osha at 27, Mobad at 27. The death of these musical geniuses is a very tiny fraction of the thousands of examples that abound and exist. The universal theme in all of these tragedies is that of broken homes and poverty. A psychoanalysis of some of their song is a revelation of trauma, disjointed childhood, dreams that were crushed by poverty, fear of and sometimes fascination with death, and also a premonition of their own death. For Dagreen, this premonition is evident in his last unreleased song, If I Die, Da Blix Osha, vis-a-vis Pray We Live Long, and Mobad's Sorry. They, just like millions of other children, come from homes where one of the biological parents is absent. Children from such broken homes mostly become emotional punching bags of step parents and step siblings, isolated and ostracized in what is supposed to be their own homes. Sometimes they have to be thrown into the streets at an age too tender for their own good, to walk or hawk, so as to help their parents bring food to the table. These children, barely boys or girls, barely teens or grown, are thrown into the streets to fend for themselves. They are barely baked, they are barely fully baked, morally, mentally, emotionally, and psychologically, to withstand the harsh elements of the streets. They easily succumb to or melt when they are met with the heat of peer pressure. When they leave their parents' tents, the only shoulders they find to lean on in the streets is the shoulders of goons and demons. And when it is either too cold or hot, the only comfort they find is the duvet of drugs. They become experts in a dozen crimes and vices that interrupt and destroy their childhood. They become adults overnight. And if by any chance they become a success, as in our few iconic examples, they are maladroits at handling their own successes. This is not about me, but my personal experience of being single-parented is informative. The family structure I was lucky to be part of was a compound family. I was raised by a community. I was my grandfather's brother. There was always so much love and pampering. However, where grandparents would spare the rod, we always had uncles and relatives who always had a rod at hand. They were young and in their prime. If you run, they will chase you, they will catch you, and they will check you. Family structures of that kind is hard to come by these days. To every single mothers and fathers out there who did it and made it, you are heroes and heroines. To those who are doing it, we wish you good luck. And to the single parents who failed, we pray that God suits your hearts. The ideal family structure is not a political question. It is a social cultural question of grave importance that the state must take seriously if she desires to maintain the sanctity of our social fabric. Remember what was told in social studies classes, that a family is the first point of contact for every child. Do the maths. Yes, do the mathematics. An average of 3 million children from 1 million broken homes and disjointed families is equal to 3 million adults with traumatized childhood who has some contact with dope, drugs, and crime. The multiplier effect from one state to all states portends danger for our country. We are in danger. The danger of an army of citizens able to rape the social fabric of our society and rape her. Policies must be designed to encourage and protect the institution of marriage and familyhood. Policies that ensure that fathers do not vanish into thin air, abandoning their filial responsibilities. Safety net for all children, most especially those from broken homes, in forms of stipends. This is not an attempt to breathe life into Thomas More's utopia, nor an attempt to reinvent George Orwell's Animal Farm. No, we do not want no omnipresent big brother staring at us in our closets. This is neither intrusion nor interruption. This is intervention. Intervention that ensures that the conduct of private family life is not compromised or carried on in a manner that threatens social cultural stability and sanity. We need a responsible state lending a helping hand to families in distress and the next generation. A generation with sound civic education, willing and ready to defend her against any aggression, internal or external. Thank you for your time. God bless you.